Hello, welcome to the first Stat 510 video of spring 2021. My name is David Delpiaz. I'll be the instructor of this course. I am a teaching assistant professor in the Department of Statistics here at the University of Illinois. This will be my second time teaching this course. I guess I should say I also took this course as a PhD student in the Department of Statistics at the University of Illinois. Yeah, that's enough about me. Let's get into it. So, one of the things I'm going to do this semester is every week I'm going to start with an overview, introductory video where I sort of talk about what we're going to do for the week. That's going to be this video for week one, but this video is going to be a little bit different, and then it's going to overview the whole course in some ways, not just the week itself. A quick note there too. I'm going to be doing a lot of new videos this semester, but I'm also going to be reusing some old videos so I can spend my time doing other things like updating homeworks, exams, meeting with you in office hours. Like there's no need to recreate something that's already working, but some videos I am going to update. I think did a good job of this, but occasionally there might be something in one of those videos that sort of like makes reference to like something from a previous semester. Sort of disregard that. I guess another way to say that is I'm going to try to only put logistic information in the sort of welcome video to each week, and then only content information in the other ones. But if logistics seeped into some of the old content videos, feel free to ignore that. Realistically, the only place you'll ever need to go for logistical information is this course website that we're looking at right now. The address to get to that website is simply stat510.org. Hopefully that makes it fairly easy to get to. Okay, so what is Stat 510? That's a good question. So first of all, before I say what Stat 510 is, I need to say that this version of Stat 510 is specifically designed for master's students in the Department of Statistics. That's not to say that other people can't take it, but that's the specific target audience of this course. There is one group of students that should not take this course, and that is PhD students in the Department of Statistics. You need to take a different course that will prepare you for the qual. This course is designed for master students who don't plan on seeking a PhD but need to fulfill the mathematical statistics requirement of the master's degree. For folks outside of the statistics department, it's a little trickier if you need to take this course or say a more PhD appropriate course. I don't know the best way to advise on that, but I think the closer you are to say math or statistics, if you're seeking a PhD, you should probably do the stat PhD appropriate stuff. If you're, maybe more on the, life sciences, social sciences end of things, and you wanted a little more foundation in mathematical statistics, this course might be appropriate for you, assuming you have the appropriate prerequisite knowledge. So note about that real quick. So one thing that's a little difficult to navigate about this course for me is that it sort of assumes a whole year of mathematical statistics. So, for example, if you were an undergraduate at University of Illinois, you would have taken Stat 400 and Stat 410. So, in a lot of ways, this course is those two courses rolled into one, but faster, broader, deeper. It's just, we want to really reinforce all of those ideas, sort of show it to you in new ways, give you a few things that build upon that. But really, ultimately, my goal is to sort of lay a foundation where, if you're a person that's going to call yourself a statistician as you move into your career or whatever it is that you're going to do next, you have the skills to sort of like be in that conversation, to go out and learn more things yourself, to really understand the foundations of the field. This picture that we're looking at is sort of the big picture of what we're going to do here. So we have a data generating process, and probability is the language with which we sort of describe how data is generated from it. And then the main focus of the course is going to be, well, we have some data but we want to make inference about what the underlying data generating process or what the underlying population looks like. So that's what we're going to do in this course. Okay, so talking through the website really quick. So basically, the numbered links here represent the weeks of the course. So for week 1, to see what it is you need to do, you'll want to come to this link here, and it'll tell you. We'll circle back to that because what I want to talk about for now is the syllabus. So what we're going to do for the rest of this video is we're going to talk through the syllabus, then we'll talk through the homework policy, then we'll come back and talk about the specific things you need to do for week 1. And then we'll probably talk about week 2 a little bit because week 1, we're not going to do too much. We're going to sort of ease into things, and this is really going to be sort of a welcome week, syllabus week type feel. Okay. Again, so this is Stat 510, Mathematical Statistics, Section A1. We are online. I think you knew that already. We are going to be asynchronous, meaning I'm going to, in my office, sit here and record lecture videos and release them to you, and you can watch them at your own pace. There will be, assignments due week to week, but you can watch the videos when you want. The only synchronous part of the course will be office hours where, we can sync up at the same time and chat, but lecture will be asynchronous. Okay, course staff, me and a TA. You'll get to know both of us in office hours. More on that a little bit later, though. Okay, so this is the course description as it is presented in the course catalog. I'm kind of largely going to ignore it, not the content of the description, but the description itself, because I think it's it feels like just a bunch of scattered thoughts. So in this course, we're going to use the appropriately titled book, All of Statistics, written by Larry Wasserman. So this book seeks to do exactly that, talk about all of statistics. I have grown rather fond of this book for various reasons that we'll get into. But so basically the book is sort of split up into, is it 2 or 3 parts? 3 parts. So there's a probability section, a statistical inference section, and then what's called a statistical models and methods section. So basically we're going to do the first part. We're going to quickly run through probability. So 2 to 3 homeworks worth of the 10 that we're going to do are going to be sort of a recap of probability. There won't be a lot of new stuff there. That's just to make sure you have those concepts down. And then the rest of the time, we're going to talk about statistical inference. And then we might pull 1 topic or 2 from the statistical models and method sections. Right now, I'm planning on talking about causal inference a little bit because that seems to be kind of a hot topic right now, and it's covered in this book in sort of the more methods section. But so that's basically, we're going to try to discuss the foundations of all of statistics. It's a broad goal, a lofty goal, but and we certainly won't teach you all the statistics in the course. But I think another way to think about it is we're going to teach you things that sort of affect all of statistics. Although I will say that if you read the whole book cover to cover, we're only going to do about the first half. It does cover quite a lot of statistics. But so this book is generally sort of, how do I say this? It's written in a concise way that I really appreciate. I don't want to say it's lacking detail, but it really only tells you what you need and doesn't pontificate on it too much. And so my hope is that the book will sort of dictate the pace and the content, and then my lectures will hopefully give you additional detail and opinions on things. Okay. Right, so textbooks. So this book is going to be the main book. There will be required readings in it, and it will sort of dictate the pace and content of the course. I'll largely try to follow the notation in this book. Yeah, so that's this. We'll call it, I'll often refer to it as Wasserman or LW. It's called All of Statistics. This link here, I forget if this will do it. I might need to update this link, but if you if you access the book through the Illinois library, um, there's a free PDF ebook. Actually, that's this link here. So if you use this link here, you'll have to shibboleth authenticate, and then you can download a PDF. So you do not need to buy it. I will note that I'm holding this physical copy here, and you might notice it says Springer Link My Copy on it. If you have access to the Illinois library, you'll have this link here called Buy My Copy, and you can get a copy for only $25. Pretty reasonable considering I think it sells for a lot more on Amazon. I like it. It's paperback for the $25. You don't get a hardcover or anything, but I like this book because it's kind of a reference book too, in my opinion. I use it for quick reference all the time. I'm pulling it off my shelf all the time. So if you want to spend a little money you like a physical copy, note that for $25 you can get one. Hopefully that won't break the bank. I think that's probably cheaper than you can get used versions on Amazon. So that's a nice little feature of the Illinois having a deal with Springer. I forget exactly how that works, but something like that. So if you're interested, there you are. I list a number of other books here. So one is Probability and Statistics, The Science of Uncertainty. That is this book here. Nice thing about this book is the authors have released the entire thing for free. PDF copies. So I'll assign reading from this book, but it's not required reading. So this book, the way I would suggest you use it in this course is if you want additional examples, additional sort of detail, or this book, one of the biggest reasons I assign readings here is that the chapters have a lot of exercises, many of which have answers in the back of the book. So you could use it for practice of sort of like basic problems to get yourself back up to speed if you're a little rusty on something. Okay, the other book that I claim is required is the set of the book that I learned this material from originally. It's called Mathematical Statistics Old School, written by John Martin, a professor at the University of Illinois. I actually didn't take these courses from him, but I took other graduate courses from him, and he is known for writing these wonderful, I think he sometimes calls them notes, I would call them books. Where's the link to the actual PDF? Why am I not seeing the PDF? Amazon, PDF, I already clicked the link. So this is free. So I would say that this book is sort of at the level of our class, but it's definitely designed a little bit more with PhD students in mind. But I think that this would be a great supplemental text. So read Wasserman, and then read as much of this as you can. I think would be a smart way to go about things. I believe you can get a reasonably cheap copy of it. I don't have one sitting around. I use the PDF notes. I had printed these off years ago, I think, when I was using these to study for my qual. But yeah, because I like this book and the author is a colleague, I think it's something great to read from. We're just going to follow the pace and the spacing of the content from Wasserman, but a lot of the ideas are similar across all the texts. So I'll post readings from these three sources. You'll always be expected to read Wasserman. Evans and Rosenthal, you should read if you're feeling a little shaky on some of the prerequisite material. And then Martin, you should read if you want a sort of a deeper dive. I know that's a lot of reading, but I think it's helpful to see things across multiple sources. Maybe one resonates with you more than the other. And I think it's just good to do the reading. These other two books are not important. I reference Casella Berger just because so many people have learned from this book. It's this one here. It's a good book, but we're not going to use it. But you could do practice problems from it if you had a copy sitting around. And then Hogg, McCain, and Craig, I think is something that if you took 410 here, you would have used. So I referenced that. You could use that, say, in place of Evans and Rosenthal if you wanted some background on prerequisite material. Okay. Oh, I also like linking this here. They call it the Probability and Statistics Cookbook. See if that'll open. Yeah. This book, or not book, this set of notes, very nice, very useful. It actually has a very almost one-to-one relationship with this book. I think they may have influenced each other. Or sorry, this influenced the cheat sheet here. But this is sort of a compact summary of a lot of what we're going to talk about in this class. So that would be a nice thing to keep around. Let's close some of this. Okay, cool. Prerequisites. So like I said, Stat 410 at Illinois. Another way to say that is you have 2 semesters of probability and statistics after calculus. Would be the way to say that. Okay. Okay, so in terms of course communication, we're going to have 2 what I call one-way communications. One of them you're experiencing right now, which is a lecture where I talk at a computer and then later on a computer talks at you. So you can't, you're not part of that process. And the other is announcements, which will go through email. So make sure your @Illinois account is in working order and you check it, at least like once a day. But then in terms of 2-way communication, there are 3 ways to do that in sort of descending order of usefulness, in my opinion. So first off is office hours. We have a small course here, so hopefully, between myself and the TA, you can get a lot of individualized attention in office hours. So we're doing office hours at 7 p.m. Champaign time because from experience, that's a time that works well for people in Champaign and then also people on the other side of the globe. I think the only time this doesn't work, the only folks that this wouldn't work really well for are people in, say, Europe and Africa, right? If I'm thinking about how the globe works. Yeah, something like that. So if we have anyone in those regions, email me and maybe we'll try to knock one of these into a different time zone. But, historically, the vast majority of the people in the course are, from last semester, actually, most people were in Champaign. And then we had a few folks in sort of East Asia. But if these times will just never work for someone, let me know. And we'll try to maybe scoot something around. But hopefully this will cover mostly everyone. But again, if you're in, say, Europe or Africa, let us know and we'll try to move something around for you. So this is also what I would call the sort of expected office hour schedule. But, things are subject to move. Not often, but, maybe someone has a meeting come up or something. So we'll post this every week sort of inside these links here. More on that when we get to it. That's what I'm saying here. Okay, so on Monday and Thursday, my office hours go from 7 to 8. But then right at 8 o'clock, my Stat 432 office hours start. And they're all in the same Zoom room. You're welcome to stay. You're welcome to show up after 8. But during the 8 to 9 hour, I will be heavily prioritizing 432 questions. But if no one has a 432 question, you can sneak in a 510 question. But in the 7 to 8 hour, 510 will be the priority. Okay. I like office hours better than Piazza and individual email. It's easier to help because we can have an actual feedback loop and an actual conversation. So this is a small class. So my hope is that office hours are sort of an informal hangout type thing. And so if conversation drifts away from talking about course material, that's fine by me. But if that happens and you have a question directly related to course material, please interrupt, jump in. We'll reprioritize that. But, if you want to talk about the weather, that's fine too. But we just need to make sure we get everyone's questions answered. And then office hours, while they're not public in that, people can't just tune in, there are other folks there. But if you have a private concern, send me an email. If we can't solve it in an email, we'll schedule a meeting, and I have a few words here about how I like to go about scheduling that. Okay, so beyond office hours, the next thing you want to do is maybe post on Piazza. Here's the link. Here's the access code. There's already a post there, a little bit about how I expect that interaction to happen. So basically just some rules and guidelines about posting on Piazza. between myself and the TA, we'll try to get you a response in 24 hours, except for weekends. But again, often, in office hours, I'll have my iPad whiteboard and I can help you out, and you can share your screen. I can share my screen. Piazza is a more limiting thing, but if you need to, post there. And then last ditch effort, if you have like a personal thing that can't be posted publicly, go ahead and email us. I have this sort of, it's annoying and highly regulatory email policy, but please do read it and follow it. Okay. Here's how to actually contact us via email. Okay. So in terms of what you're going to do in this class, you're going to write 10 homeworks and you're going to write 2 exams. That's the totality of what you're going to do. So after we're done with the syllabus, we'll go back and talk about the homework policy. But long story short, 10 homeworks. So basically 5 homeworks, an exam, 5 homeworks, an exam is roughly the structure of the course. Those homeworks will be submitted on Gradescope. More on that when we look at the homework policy, and we'll look up homework 1 too before we're done with this video. And then exams. So exams are going to be a lot like homeworks in that they will be submitted on Gradescope. The only difference is that while you're sitting there writing them up, you'll be proctored via the CBTF online. Information about that here. We'll release a whole document about the exams as we get a little bit closer to it. But bottom line, it's through the CBTF online. You can get acquainted with that at this link here. We had a lot of success with this last time. We'll inform you of a few tips and tricks before that, but bottom line is you'll have your camera pointed at you. Someone will be proctoring you via Zoom. There's no additional software you need. There's nothing fancy. It's a very nice and easy proctoring service. We had a lot of success with it last semester. Okay. But again, much more on that as we get closer to the exams. But bottom line is it's going to mimic the homeworks in a lot of ways. The only difference is there'll be a time block instead of a week. And then, you'll have the proctor running in the background. Okay. This is just an overview of the deadlines for things. We're doing Mondays this week. This semester. Just so that you don't have everything due on a Friday, because I know a lot of courses do that, including me previously, but we're going to move that. And then so there'll be office hours on Monday, so you can get your last second questions answered. Okay. In terms of course technology, Gradescope is sort of the one non-standard thing we're going to use, although I think it's becoming more popular. This link will get you there. This code will get you associated with the class. I would suggest you do that sort of right away. Pause this video, go do that real quick. In terms of how the grading is done, we'll come back and talk about how homework is graded specifically, but homework will account for 50% of your grade, 25 for exam 1, 25 for exam 2. The exams, I should say, they're equal weighted, and they're both, exam 1 will be on the first 5 homework, exam 2 will be on the second 5 homeworks. Exam 2 is going to be given during finals, but technically it's going to be equal weight with the exam 1. So that's that. So the grading scale is pretty standard, except for A+, which I have a slightly higher standard for, just because it doesn't affect your GPA. And historically, grades are pretty good, so a few too many people would get A+ if I didn't do that. Nothing too fancy there. Okay, grade disputes. So I just have this policy that says after we give you a grade back, you have 1 week to dispute anything about it. There's 2 reasons for that. One is just to cut down on the logistics of, in week 15, a bunch of people coming and saying, I want points back on this assignment and that assignment, and then we have to go back and think about things we haven't thought about for 8 weeks, and no one wants to do that. The other reason is to force you to keep up with your grade. We want you to know where you stand in the class, and so by forcing you to sort of review the grades we give you, actually read the feedback, see what you got wrong, and sort of, fix any mistakes, you'll be better equipped to get through the semester. And in terms of grading disputes, when we get into the homework policy and you see the way we do that, I don't suspect there's going to be a lot of disputes. But but you should still get in the habit of checking your grades because occasionally there's times where a human has to enter a number, and what if we accidentally enter a 1 instead of a 10? Like, you need to know about that and then let us know about that as soon as possible so we can fix it. Okay. Academic integrity, basically don't cheat. You're all grad students. If you don't know how to navigate academic integrity at this point, I don't think I'm gonna save you. Oh, I don't know if I said this. I might need to update this. Shoot. So if you have DRES accommodations, please send me your letter of accommodation sooner rather than later. But more importantly, you need to send it to the CBTF. Let me maybe pull that up real quick. DRES accommodations. Right. Okay. So if you are someone with DRES accommodations for exams, you need to reach out to the CBTF, and particularly Carlene, whose email is here. And basically, what will happen is you'll get notated within the CBTF online system that you are a DRES student, and you can do all the scheduling for your accommodation through the CBTF. You won't have to go through DRES. I have found that the CBTF folks are really great at administering this, and it should be super easy. Frankly, it's been so easy that I don't even know how it works other than you talk to Carlene at the start of the semester. And then from my perspective, it's all magic and it just works. And students have told me that it works pretty well. So if you have a DRES accommodation, please reach out to the CBTF at the start of the semester. And that should make things go smooth from there. Okay, where were we? Right. So there's this thing here called the extended syllabus. These are just sort of some notes that I have on teaching. So if you want to read through sort of my thoughts on teaching and sort of how I approach courses, read this if you feel like it. Not required reading. This is just a thing that says I can change anything I want. I won't do anything without telling you. Okay, so that's the syllabus. Have a read through this. Technically, I need to go back and delete this. So my notes to myself are I need to get rid of this and then add that note about the CBTF DRES stuff. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about homework policy. Okay, so homework. Actually, without even talking about it too much, I'm going to pull up homework 1 while we talk about this. So homework 1 looks like this. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's a homework. Okay, great. Notice that there are 11 questions. That'll be sort of a relevant bit here. Okay, so all homeworks are worth 10 points. And they will have at least 10 exercises, but many, like this one has 11. So you can get 11 points. Now, that is not extra credit. Those are what I call buffer points. So basically, at the end of the semester, we're going to average out your homework scores. And so if you have like 11, 9, 12, 8, blah, 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 that would average out to 10. And so you would have 100% on homework. But let's say you got 11s on all of them. Well, then you'd have 110%, and then that would become 100%. So buffer points, they can only negate other reductions. They aren't extra credit. So you can't get over 100% on the overall homework to help with your exam grade. It's just, it helps you keep your homework grade at 100%, even if you lose some points on, say, other assignments. Hopefully that's not too confusing, but basically it's a little bit of help so that you won't... My hope is that everyone gets 100% on homework, I guess is one way to say that. Even if they miss a few questions along the way. Okay, so how is homework graded? So pretty straightforward. Each exercise is graded 0, half, 1. You get 0 if you write nothing of any value. You're not moving towards a solution. You get a half point if you write something that is ultimately wrong, but shows that you knew what was going on, you were making progress towards the solution. You get a 1 if your answer is just 100% correct, it's the right final answer, it has the correct supporting work. And in rare occasions, if you get a little something wrong, but everything else is correct, we might give you a 1 instead of a 0.5. But for the most part, to get a 1, you have to get it just right. This should make grading pretty cut and dry. This won't be the grading for exams. There'll be much more leniency on partial credit. But for homework, just so the grader doesn't go crazy and we don't have to argue about every little thing, we'll have this sort of like straightforward thing. So assignments will be submitted via Gradescope. Again, go to Gradescope, log in, use that code to get associated with the course. I have found Gradescope to be very straightforward, so if you haven't used it before, I wouldn't be too worried about it. It's pretty straightforward. The one thing you need to know is you might have to like merge some documents together into a single PDF, but I have found students are very good at doing that. If you have questions about that, ask on Piazza, but yeah. So we generally allow, so there's a due date on Monday at 11:59 p.m. and then 48 hours after that, you're allowed to submit for a 20% reduction, so minus 2 points. Sorry, it's not a 20% reduction, it's just minus 2 points. Yeah. We talked about grade disputes, we talked about this. We kind of talked about this. And so some of the questions will be a little bit computational in nature. We'll do some simulation and things throughout the semester. So obviously, you're going to need to use a computing environment. We recommend R, but if you can translate the problem into another language, you can use it. But I would just suggest using R because that's what will be best able to support. Okay, let's move on to week 1. Okay, so this is what a typical week will sort of look like online. We're going to go to week 2 as well to look at this. So this week we're just sort of looking at the syllabus. You're getting accustomed to acquainted with the course. You're going to find the textbook. Video will be posted, but I'm making it so it couldn't be there yet. There is not an assignment the first week, but you should get set up with Gradescope. Again, look back to the syllabus for the access code and everything. And then office hours start next week, not week 1, but week 2. But in the meantime, sign up for Piazza. So this is not the best week, so let's move ahead to week 2. Okay, so week 2 is going to look like this. So we have the dates, we have a brief words about what's going to happen, some specific learning objectives, some reading. So in bold, we have the Wasserman reading, which is required, the possible Evans and Rosenthal reading if you want some refresher of things you should have known already, and the Martin reading if you want to extend a little bit. Video, obviously, is still to come. It'll tell you the first homework is being assigned in week 2, and it's due the Monday of week 3. And then office hours, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And some additional links I'll post from time to time. Like here's a very good resource on sort of calculating probabilities in R. Yeah, so this is what a sort of a working week will look like on the website. And then everything else is sort of blank for now. We'll be filling that in along the way, but that'll give you sort of a good idea of what's going on. I guess I need to get a way to put a Piazza link in here too, kind of like I did here. So, but yeah, don't forget about Piazza. Okay. Yeah, so in terms of, I guess, going back to week 1 here as I wrap up a little bit. So week 1, we're not jumping in. I'm anticipating a lot of shift in the roster as sort of registration restrictions change and move around, and I don't want to overwhelm you with homework right away. So, get the book, start looking through it, get on Gradescope, get on Piazza. Look for my welcome email on Monday. I mean, in theory, maybe you'll see that email before this video. I don't know. It's hard to say. These videos are a little weird sometimes in terms of how time works. But yeah, so I think that's it. So yeah, again, welcome to Stat 510. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Hopefully we have a good semester. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Um, it's spring 2021. COVID is still around. Um, I think we sort of all we get so many emails from the university about COVID. Everyone in all their email starts with, "Oh, I know everyone's having a hard time," and I recognize that we are all having we've had hard times. We're going to continue having hard times. It's not fun. However, and sorry, and I acknowledge that, and I will do whatever is necessary to help you if you're having any troubles. But one thing I'm going to try to be a little bit aware of this semester is I'm gonna sort of just talk about that less. So like if you have if you have an issue, please come to me. Reach out to the university. Use whatever resources necessary. But I'm just gonna try to talk about COVID less. I'm not gonna reference it in videos as much. I'm not gonna in announcements say like, oh, I hope we're all doing okay. Assume that I hope you're all doing okay. Like we don't need to talk about this constantly. I think we're all maybe a little fatigued from hearing about it all the time. So I just want to say that like I'm aware of it. I will do what I can. We will accommodate you. Please let us know if you are having any issues. But this might be one of the last times that I sort of like specifically address that. I mean, I'm sure I will check in on things, but I think I just think I want to try to even myself focus on talking about course stuff a little bit more and reacting to COVID a little bit less, um, or at least say I'm going to react to COVID a little bit less and just react when necessary. I guess would be another way of saying that. I don't know. Maybe you feel differently about this, but this is semester 3 of constantly hearing about it, and I just think I'm gonna put forth an effort to talk about it just a little bit less. Okay, we've reached the part of the video where I'm rambling, so that's how we know that I should probably stop. Okay, so as always, if you made it to the end of the video, good job, and I will see you in the next one.